It always makes me a little bit weird, that kind of robotic voice.
I know.
It's rather strange. Anyway, you alluded to you got a couple of stories to tell, so I'm actually really intrigued now. Like I
Okay.
saw you like flipping around doing some crazy ass shit in the snow, so you definitely got something to say. So I want to hear it.
Okay. So I'm Annika Malacinski. I am 20 years old and I'm a Nordic combined skier. And for those that aren't familiar with winter sports or Nordic combined, it's basically ski jumping and cross country skiing. So it's a little bit weird because it is two sports in one, but I think it just makes it like super interesting and never a dull moment, let's say. So yeah, that's kind of the sport I do. And I actually started when I was 16 years old. So I was super late into it. I was a gymnast for 14 years and my body got, really tired and couldn't take all the tumbling anymore and all the stress. So I decided that I would quit. So I quit at 16 and at that time, I had no idea what I was doing because my whole life I was an athlete. Like, even when I was little, I did like every sport in the world, every single one. And so I kind of had like a midlife crisis, and I was like, okay, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
My little brother, Nicholas, he's 17. He started ski jumping when he was 7. So I went to go watch one of his competitions during 4th of July in Steamboat. We have this huge elimination round kind of competition. Lots of crowds come out. And I was like, that is freaking cool. Like, I want to do that. So it's kind of weird that my little brother inspired me to start ski jumping, but that is the full truth. After that, 2 weeks later, I was on some long ass skis and I was going down the 40-meter hill because that's the only hill in the summertime in Steamboat Springs. I went down it the first time. I swear I blacked out. But once I was in the air and I had that adrenaline rush, I was like completely hooked to the feeling. So I was like, okay, let's see where this takes me. And 4 years later, I am traveling World Cups. I have Olympic dreams. So yeah, it's a pretty cool story, but that's kind of the small gist of it.
Wow, being able to travel around with it, like that's insane.
Yeah.
So whereabouts have you gone with it?
Um, so last year, women's Nordic combined had their first ever World Cup and World Championships, which really went down in history. Unfortunately, women's Nordic combined is not in the Olympics yet, so we will not be in Beijing, but we are pushing for Milano 2026. So it's been awesome being able to grow with the sport. I basically started when, they started including women in men's competitions.
Mhm.
So I have traveled the world and it's an amazing experience being an athlete and being able to, travel the world and see different cultures and kind of immerse yourself in such beautiful places. So I'm really glad that I stuck with this path.
That's that's incredible. Like, I'm pretty sure we both know that travel like broadens the mind, right? Like you said about meeting and greeting new cultures and being able to learn life really, right? We can see other perspectives and you're able to do that through a sport. And I think that's literally like the dream, right?
Yeah, no, it is absolutely the dream. Doing something that you love and you have big dreams and desires for, but also being able to see the world, meet
Mm.
amazing people while you're at it. It's like I couldn't ask for a better scenario, honestly.
Mm. So what's the like your most favorite place you've been to?
Um, well, I do actually have dual citizenship to Finland.
Wow.
My mom's side she's Finnish, so all my family is there. So I love going to Finland, but I would say that some of my favorite ski jumps are in Austria.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Austria's a cool place.
Yeah, it is. The mountains are so unbelievable.
I've only ever traveled through it. Um, it's kind of a long story. It was pretty much a traveling through hell, pretty much. Like we get fucking, you spend like 12 hours in an airport, you end up
Yeah,
getting your flight, what do they call it, cancelled. You gotta
yeah.
fucking get a taxi to the other side of the airport, other side of the city, then get to a fly to another country, and then bus basically all the way through Eastern Europe, which was an experience, yeah. But it meant I saw Vienna, which was really cool, and
Okay.
I really got a good impression from the city, and I'd love to go back. So yeah, I can kind of relate to that in a very weird
Yeah.
way. Although I'm not hurling myself down 40 meters worth of ski jumping.
Yeah, no, actually that's funny because I like whenever I'm traveling and I'm traveling with my mom especially,
Mhm.
she always like tries to have like big layovers in different countries.
Mm.
So then we'll like tour it and I'm like extremely jet lagged, like falling asleep, but I mean, she loves it and then I get to see the country. So I remember like so distinctly we were traveling through Iceland and we had like a 12-hour layover and we just like walked through the whole city for like 9 hours and I feel like I was just falling asleep while doing that.
Yeah. Were you in Reykjavik?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful city.
Yeah. So pretty. I
That's
loved
a
it.
that's a really, really cool country. Like especially like the topography and the geology of it. Like I could definitely live there.
Oh yeah, me too. It was just unbelievable. Like we went to some waterfalls, we went to
Mm,
like the lagoons.
mm,
It's just like it feels just like a painting, honestly.
Did you get in the what do they call it? Do they call it the Blue Lagoon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get in there?
Yeah, we went to the lagoon. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
it was
yeah,
pretty
that's a
cool.
good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you literally just
Yeah.
sat outside in heated water, like hot, but it's freezing cold outside, and
Mhm.
your brain can't really understand it.
No, because it's like fully naturally like heated, which is
Mm,
crazy. It's just like a hot spring.
mm.
So yeah,
Apart
no, it
from
was so lovely.
the sulfur smell.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's true.
yeah, I think that country's definitely awesome, and having the ability to go and see other countries and experience their cultures through sport, I you know that's incredible.
Yeah, no, I mean, and every year I feel like I'm traveling to new places. This year we have 6 World Cups,
Wow.
um, 5 Continental Cups. So I'm actually leaving on Saturday and I'm gonna go to Finland for a week to train. They have a lot of snow there. All the hills are ready. So I'm gonna go see my grandparents, see home a little bit, and then I'm off to Norway, Lillehammer, um, for the first World Cup of the season. So I'm really excited for that. And I have big goals this year. I was competing in the Summer Grand Prix or this summer actually in Austria and Germany. And it's basically 9 days, and 5 of those days you're competing. So our first um, comp week started in Oberhof, Germany, and then we went to Oberwiesenthal, Germany, and then Vlok, Austria.
Wow.
And I was like, I had a goal of top 15, and I actually ended up being in all top 10s except for once I was 11th. So it was definitely a big confidence booster going into the season. So I'm definitely shooting for like a top 6 for some World Cups. And yeah, and I've been working hard. So, I'm just excited to get out there again.
And you said you're 4 years into the sport, right?
Yep, 4 years exactly, almost. Yep.
that that's literally insane. 4 years into a new sport, right? And then I travel in
Yeah.
the world and consistently within the top 10 in the world championships.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. And I think that it's so, based on where you grew up, because I live in I'm home right now. So Steamboat Springs, Colorado. It's a really cute, small little resort town. So, we have the snow here. we have ski jumps here, we have lots of like ski trails. So like it's not for everyone, because you just have to be in like the right atmosphere to start doing crazy stuff like this. um I think like the closest ski jump to from Steamboat is Park City, Utah, which is a 5-hour drive.
Wow.
And then we have some in the east. I was just in Lake Placid actually. They just built brand new ski jumps. So yeah, it's crazy like how your life can shape out to be so different just by like the location you're at. Because if I was living in a city, I wouldn't even know what ski jumping was, to be honest. So
Yeah, you just, I mean, from the outside in, you just look like crazy people that like to throw themselves like off a jump, which you probably are, but at the same time, there's a hell of a lot of skill that goes involved with it.
yeah, and I think people like kind of look at us crazy, but then like it's like me looking at like an aerial skier and doing that the flips that they do in the air, and I'm like, that's fucking crazy. I would never do that.
No way.
But it's really like it's not that scary once you get like you have the practice, you have the training. I mean, for sure, like 2 years into ski jumping, it was scary going up to bigger hills. Like when I first went up to a 60-meter hill or a 90-meter hill or 120-meter hill, like it was all like scary at first. But when you're training and it's consistent jumping, it just like it's an amazing feeling. Like the like next thing to flying, and it's basically just like a floating, very like meditative kind of feeling in the air. So yeah, it's really hard to explain the feeling, but it's like something I've never experienced in my life. So
Mm. Well, that's your thing
yeah.
though, right? And I think that's really beautiful. Like everyone's got their own thing and their own like fitness realm, so to speak. I like the
Yeah.
barbells because I like to keep my feet on the ground, and other people like to fly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy because I think super like I didn't see this coming, but one of my TikToks went like super viral, and it was just an edit of me ski jumping. And like there's like comments like, what kind of parents would sign their kids up to do this? And like
Come on.
so many comments like this. And it's like I would like shit my pants if I had to go down there and stuff like this. And I was like, it's crazy like how people just they don't know anything. And
Mm,
that's really like from the atmosphere you grew up in.
mm.
um but yeah, it's fun to like show kind of the world what ski jumping is, and especially with women's Nordic combined kind of really going down in history these few couple years. I've had a lot of media exposure. I just got interviewed by the New York Times.
Wow.
um yeah, and like Nine News, all kinds of, I'm in the local newspaper here a lot. And so I think it's like a great opportunity to kind of like share to the world what ski jumping is, and why we kind of have like inequality in the sport since our sport isn't in the Olympics. And so I think it's a great opportunity to just like share my experiences and, see the sport grow, I guess.
I think that's really cool because you've highlighted things that are bigger than yourself, right? And
Hmm.
be able to acknowledge that really early into a new sport is, I mean, not a lot of people do that.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that's really cool.
exactly. And yeah, and it definitely hasn't been like all sunshine and rainbows. In 2018, I fell on a ski jump and dislocated my shoulder.
Mm,
Um, I was I competed in one competition after that, and then I had to get surgery. I tore my labrum. Um,
mm,
so like I can talk from experience. After that injury, I was terrified to ski jump because I just felt it all tumbling down the hill, and seeing my shoulder being out of place, and I had shoulder issues before that. So it was like a lot of mental strength to be able to like, get up to the top of a ski jump again and be able to actually let go of the bar. Because I mean, once you're in the track, you're in the track. There is no bailing after that. um so I have been through a lot mentally and physically, but I mean it just shows like hard work does pay off, because I mean, now I'll be traveling in World Cups and hopefully, reaching the Olympics in 2026. So I think if you really put your mind to things and, commit to it, train hard, I think that really anything is possible.
Mm. And that can be related outside of the gym too, right?
No, totally. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. Just
Yeah,
life in general.
that's 100% right. And we like to use stories for like the Olympics or the Commonwealths or World Championships or whatever it is, right? We like to watch that, read the stories behind it, and then everyday folk will then use that outside of the gym. And I think that's why sports is really, really important. It's like it unites the world rather than segregates it. Okay, yeah, it's a competition. We go against each other, but at the same time, it's like it's so much more than who gets the medals.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like a whole life journey. I have like never not been an athlete, except for the couple months that I was deciding what to do after my gymnastics career.
Mm.
And yeah, I think you're so right. It's just like it unites everyone. I meet amazing people around the world. I have friends on the Norwegian team, on the Italian team. And I think it just, grows friendships and bonds over the years. Like no matter, if I quit or I'm all the way around the world, I'm like always united with these people that I compete with and occasionally train with. So I
Mm.
think it's just awesome all around.
So I'm going to take you back to like the first time you did ski jumping, right? How do you get into that? Because I don't think you're just going to put you on like on a jump and be like, somehow get to the bottom. So how do you get into it?
um so again, like growing up in a place like Steamboat Springs, I mean, we produce so many Olympic athletes out of this little town, and it's crazy. But yeah, after, it was the summer, and people think that, ski jumping and skiing, you can only do it in the winter, but it is an Olympic like winter sport, you're totally capable of doing it in summer. We ski jump on plastic, and then we have roller skis that we, cross country ski with. So I started in the summer, and I just remember like having these long skis, and I was there. My skis are currently 242 centimeters long. So really tall, really tall. And yeah, I just kind of looked at these skis and put some really uncomfortable boots on. And I had gone off the outrun of the 40-meter run, because that was the only, summer jump in Steamboat. And, just kind of going down, and I have a pretty good ski background living in a resort town. So that was fine. It was just weird that I had long skis on. And then they were like, okay, well, we don't have small jumps. So do you want to just head up to the top of the 40? And I was like, okay, sure. So I hiked up there, I put on all my gear, and I was like kind of freaking out inside. And I was like, oh God, what am I doing? I got out on the bar. People are like, you got this, Annika. It's just go in and, jump, and you'll be totally fine. I was like, okay, yeah. So I got on the bar. I'm looking down the in run, and I was like, holy shit. Because I mean, as someone who's never ski jumped in their life, I was looking down on a 40-meter run, and I was like, okay, yeah, we're doing this. And so I was on the bar, and I was like, I let go, and I like the surrounding of my eye went like totally black. And so I remember just going in the in run, and I don't remember much of it because I was so like just blacked out, adrenaline rush.
Mm.
And once I got in the air, I was like flying for, a couple milliseconds. And then I landed super, super fast, kind of went down the in run, and then I crashed on the grass because the plastic is a lot more slippery than the grass. So you're supposed to like squat down when you get on the grass, and you kind of just keep going until it stops. So I crashed on the grass, but then I was like, wow, that was cool. It was just like a different experience. Like, it was so much adrenaline in my body, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do that again. So yeah.
I'm sweating just hearing that story. You know what I mean? Like my palms are
Yeah.
sweating. Like you
Yeah.
pretty much no experience, put your feet in these boots. Oh, we got 40 meters. Like 40 meters is a significant way, right? You
Yeah.
just kind of holding on to this rail and be like, yeah, okay, fuck it, and let go. Oh, wow. Hats off to you. Like that took
Yeah,
some
no,
balls.
yeah, no, it was amazing. And like, after that I was just hooked and I started training and kind of looking back at it, I don't know what I was doing. Like at 16 years old, starting a completely new sport, I don't even know what I was really reaching for with this. I just knew that it was fun and I liked going off the takeoff and being in my flight for the couple seconds that I was. And um yeah, and then it kind of got more serious and women started getting recognized and started putting more competitions for us. And I mean, last year when I competed in my first World Cup, like it was insane. There was just cameras on you constantly. Everyone was videoing you. There was like these huge balloons. I had to have credentials, and it was a crazy thing. And it was cool to see because I basically grew with the sport.
Hmm.
I was never you know started and there was World Cups already. So I mean, every year it just like became more publicly known that women's Nordic combined wasn't in competitions or in the Olympics. So I was definitely growing with it, which is a cool thing for me to say.
Mm. Yeah, super cool. Like it's a super cool time to come into a spot like that, and you get to, like you said, see it grow and experience that kind of teething process and kind of developing and creating like a foothold within the wider sport sort of community, especially like the
Yeah.
winter sports. I think that's really cool. Like what was that like having all the cameras on you though? Like at kind of a young age, that must be super weird.
Yeah, I mean, like I was training hard when I was a gymnast, but I mean, gymnastics is just on a different level, even though I had goals and dreams. I never got to a point where there would be like cameras on me or I'd be at like some Olympic trials. So, I mean, it was an awesome feeling that like, we're finally being recognized as women and we're pushing for more competitions. But on like a personal side, it was cool to like get back to my hotel and like watch myself. Because I mean, we were like on TV. So,
Jeez.
I just like going into the local television, broadcasting, and I just like watched the competition that I was in already. So, I mean, it was cool. And like, I really look forward to like more of it.
Mm.
Last year we only had World Cup or one World Cup, and now this year we have six. So, yeah, I'm just excited for like what's to come. And I have goals and I hopefully am able to reach those goals, and if not, then I'll just take a step back and make new goals. So
And it's the
yeah.
journey along the way, right? Like everyone kind of puts all the weight on the end product of the goal, and that's usually not the point of setting a goal. The point of setting a goal is to actually not reach it, because once you reach it, you'll obviously need another one, right, to keep you going. But it's all that other stuff you're gaining along the way, and it sounds like you've already got so much already, right? And now you've got another 6 opportunities next year, and now it's just going to keep going and going and going and going. Like it's all the stuff along the
Yeah,
way.
I think it's a huge thing to set small goals. I have an end goal of the Olympics in 2026, but that's not the only thing I'm focused on. I'm looking at this like road all the way to my big goal, and there's little goals to be made all the way through. It's not just this one big competition that I want to make. So I mean, like, it's hard on your mental side to be able to do the sport, and maybe your goals don't come true or others, or you have setbacks and injuries. So that's something I've worked really hard this year. I used to have a lot of anxiety going into competitions just because I feel like I was so new in it and I feel like the whole world was looking at me. I just wanted to make people proud, especially my coach. And I'm kind of that like people pleasing person where I'm thinking about others versus myself. So this year I am really trying to focus on like just me, and I'm just going to have fun, and this is what I like to do, and I don't have to prove anything to anyone. um so it's been something that I've been working on, and in the summertime at the summer Grand Prix, it showed that it was working, just focusing on myself and doing the best that I can do. So I am kind of going into the season on a new mental note, which is also really exciting. And I think that, it's huge for your own success is to not only be like physically in shape, but make sure that your mental side is also, it's in shape as well.
So important. It's so important.
Yeah. And for anyone, not even for athletes, everyone has to have that mental side be strong. So, yeah.
How did you how did you do that for you?
How did I get my mental side kind of working more? So I actually started working with a hypnosis therapist, which worked so well. I mean, she's awesome. I was doing a couple sessions a week with her. Basically, it was hard over Zoom, but it was the only way I can do because I was, traveling Europe. But she kind of put me into a hypnosis sleep, and we'd go over some repetition of jumping or skiing, or working on the mental side of being strong, going into a competition, staying calm, relaxed. We have a great sports psych on our team that, it's always helpful talking to her, and, she gives some good ideas. And then also just totally flipping the mindset on being like, I'm right now, I'm no one. And like, what if I don't do well in this competition? Or what if I do? Like, it's not going to do anything or affect anything. And just remembering like why you started and why you like it, and why you like the feeling of ski jumping. It's not just for the competitions. So yeah.
And it's really impressive that you have taken the time to work on that mental state so early on. A lot of people wait until everything falls apart and then we're like, oh, now I kind of need to do something. So it's really impressive that you've gone into a preventative measure rather than a reactive measure, right? And I think you made a really, really important point of even outside of being an athlete, so to speak, looking after the mental state, looking after the physical state, and that synergy between the two is so, so important. And in fact, that's one of the main reasons why I started this whole thing that we're doing now, right? Like the podcast is like trying to bridge that gap. Because if you're physically fit, fantastic, well done, high five. But if you're like mentally in the gutter, you're not a healthy or fit individual, and vice versa. You could be super, super, super happy, super like high energy mentally, and then if your like physical state is falling to pieces, then you're not fit, you're not healthy. Like it needs to be the synergy between the two. And I think from the athlete's point of view, that just then takes it to a whole new level, right? Then you really need to start taking both of them so seriously.
Yeah, totally. And like I've had, a couple questions just this year about how do I feel about Simone Biles, taking the time to, step away, and not, reaching for the Olympic gold medal. And, with my gymnastics side, it's scary. It's called the twisties, and it basically means like you're in the air and like you don't know where you are in the air, and like you'll either come down on your head or your feet. So I'm like, that was, I think, perfect for her to do, because you're going to get hurt if you're not, as mentally and physically like strong. It doesn't matter how fit you are, you have to have your mental side also, playing the game for you. So yeah, I think that it's something that everyone kind of has to realize, is that, just like you said, good for you if you're in shape, but like your head has to be in the same place.
Yeah, it really irritated me when people were kicking off. Well, when she kind of took a step took a step back. I'm like,
Yeah.
you've got no right. Like, you're not in her shoes, right? You've not walked a mile in them. Like, you can't judge.
And that's a big thing for her to even step out. I mean, she had so much pressure going into that competition, everyone knowing, she's the GO and she's gonna get that Olympic gold. I mean, imagine all that pressure in the world and like
Yeah.
having to perform how everyone expects you to perform. So like, I mean, I think that was such a right call. She could have gotten hurt, even worse, been pulled out for, the rest of her life. And so I think she totally made the right decision with that. And who's
Mm.
to say like what she was feeling in that moment? So
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's live and let live, right? Do
yeah,
whatever the fuck you want to do at the end of the day. If you genuinely don't feel ready and you don't want to take that risk, you don't want to roll the dice, hey, you don't have to. Right? There's
yeah,
always a choice. There's always a decision. And then, the pressure on athletes, man, like, blows my mind, but I can also understand it, right? Like, yeah, okay, I wanted to play professional ball of rugby, and then before that I was a swimmer, and just the way my brain works, and I was in a pretty competitive club at the time. I was like, oh, okay, everyone's gonna, go to the Olympics. No, I was never going to go to the Olympics. I was more a whale than a fish, put it that way. Like, I jumped in the pool, the water jumped out, right?
oh
So
right,
rugby was kind of, a better spot for me because I got to be a lot slower and hit people, right?
yeah,
But anyway, even through that, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go pro ball. And the pressure you get from playing bloody Sunday league, academy, county, right, even for your high school, right, is insane. Like, I can feel the nerves coming back now and the anxiety coming back now. Now put the world's attention on you.
yeah,
Just
exactly.
cannot be able to understand that. I think anyone outside of that realm, anyone outside of, I'd even say professional sport, right? Even semi-pro, yeah, okay, you're gonna get the anxiety, but at the end of the day, it's not your be all and end all. It's not everything because you're doing something else, right? It's kind of that bit on the side. If you're outside of professional sport, you can't comprehend it. It's
Mhm.
just a different game.
Yeah, no, I would 100% agree. I mean, we're all human, but I mean, it's really like the life path that you choose. And I can just testify that, like, athletes, it's hard not to put the like world's pressure on you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what I was doing. I mean, I had anxiety attacks before every competition last season. So it was, it was hard, but now I'm like working through it. And I hope that every athlete can take the time to really work on their mental side as well. So,
Mm. I'm going to go back to a speech by Teddy Roosevelt, right? The man in the arena. Or for the PC people out there, I'll paraphrase it of the woman in the arena, right? It's the same thing. It's mankind, right? Of it's someone in the arena doing the work, right? And I've just got to go hats off again. Like, you should be like really proud and also bigging yourself up for yourself, right? Not for anyone else, not for external validation or to prove anything or whatever. It's you and you, the person that's looking back in the mirror. Like, even if everything goes shit, right? And you miss every jump and it's like the worst thing you've ever done in competition. You've put your boots on and you've walked into that arena and been like, yeah, okay, let's have this out. Let's have a little scrap. Let's see what we can do. And like, just making that decision and you get nothing else out, no result, just making that decision is insane, right? And that just deserves all the credit and applause then you can lap up. And then
yeah,
obviously the results going from that is just incredible.
yeah, exactly. I would 100% agree with that.
Mm. Talk to me about the cross country skiing, because that you need to be insanely fit for that.
Yeah. So here it is again with like the two sports in one. It's like two passions, one game. You have to be light for ski jumping. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I think it's 1 kilo is 2 meters farther. And then, but for the cross country side, you have to have, the endurance and muscle to be able to finish a 5 kilometer race. So it's a balance, and it's it's hard to find that balance. And it took me like almost now 2-3 years to figure out, how do I lose weight, but then also be able to, have this endurance and, this kind of side. So it's really hard, honestly, but I feel like I'm kind of getting a good balance between the two. I am, losing more weight, but also being able to sustain muscle and be able to finish a race.
Mm.
So if no one really knows what cross country skiing is, which maybe some people don't who are in the city, you're basically on long, skinny skis. We women compete in a 5K, men compete in a 10-kilometer race. And, we ski jump first. And let's say that I had the furthest jump and I went 93 meters. And then the second person that was behind me went 92 meters. Then she's going to start the amount of meters she was behind me back. So I'll start at 0, 0, 0. And then depending on how far behind she was behind me, it'll probably be, up to 30 seconds or a minute. So that's kind of how the whole Nordic combined aspect goes. We jump first. First person that had the best jump goes first. And then there's a time correlation between everyone behind. So again, it's an interesting sport. And yeah, it's interesting because it's just two sports in one. So,
Yeah, that's really
yeah.
fascinating. Like you can't really kind of throw all your chips in one basket, can you? Because ultimately the other one's going to mess up the whole score. That's really interesting.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's, I think for a lot of athletes that can testify, even ski jumpers who don't have to have the endurance part of it, it's extremely hard for them to maintain weight and be able to be lighter than normal. Or, it's really that game of, if you're light, you will go far, which can lead to health problems at
Yeah.
times or just mentally tiring.
How come the ladies only do 5K and the lads do 10K?
Um, that's a good question. The men, ski jumping and Nordic combined for men go way back in history, and women are just starting, to come to a rise. So I think that was just put as 5K. At times we have a 7K, but it's usually only, once a year at one competition. So yeah, I couldn't really tell you the full story on that, but I think they just kind of split the guys, distance in half.
Mm. I mean, it could be my very blonde, naive brain, but I'm just like, if we want equality, why don't we just give them the same?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of inequality in sports in general.
Yeah.
So it's a tough time, especially for us who, I mean, we are the only sport in the Olympics that doesn't have it for men and women.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating for sure. But then again, I haven't felt this frustration for a while because I came into the sport right when things started going in an upward level. So but like my teammate who's 27, Tara, she just actually quit last year. She went back to biathlon, but she was the women's world best Nordic combined skier. And she was awesome. But I mean, she had expressed this frustration for many years because she started way before me. So I think she saw it way more on an inequality level. And so, yeah.
That's a real shame. And I say this a lot in the sense of I think across all sports, yeah, okay, there'll be some differences and some exceptions, but I think the majority of all sports, the level between men and women is going to decrease. I 100% wholeheartedly believe that. I think as stereotypes and misconceptions get broken down, I think if kind of grassroots level gets evened out, I think if funding goes up, all these things that need to happen, right? We need to plug all the holes so the ship doesn't frigging sink. I think these ladies in sport, these professional fucking athletes, are going to show what the female human body is capable of. And I genuinely believe it's going to blow some people's minds.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of like what all of us are pushing for right now. And, the media exposure has been great. And I've been able to, share my concerns and, kind of tell the world what is happening. And hopefully we kind of get like a support system behind us where we will get our Olympics in 2026 and on. So yeah, firsthand, I can tell you that I see it every day, all the time. It's really frustrating.
I'm actually excited for it though, in the sense of excited for the more equality within all sports, right? Because for Christ's sake, a female body can produce another human being, right? That's like,
Yeah,
wait, hold
exactly.
on a minute. Like what? That's legitimately mind fucking boggling shit. So for us to be able to be like, no, it's not, they're not strong, is the dumbest thing you could ever say.
Yeah, totally. I would 100% agree. And like, I think it makes me super excited. There's a lot of younger generation girls getting into Nordic combined, especially at the club here we have in Steamboat. We have a lot of kids joining, and all I hope to be is just, someone's role model to show like what we're trying to push for. And like I started at 16. I want everyone to know that anything is possible. And just trying to grow the sport, because currently, I mean, it's pretty small, but it's not, it's been progressing each year by a couple people. And the top girls, last year at World Championships, like 3 Norwegian girls just swept the podium. And I think a lot of people are in this like mindset that, oh, our sport is still progressing, we're not there yet to be in the Olympics or have enough all these World Cups. But the truth is that like our sport has progressed a crazy amount. There's some girls on the ski jumping side that look at Nordic combined like, oh, I can totally get a medal in Nordic combined, so they just do it for fun. And they join our competition, and obviously, since they only ski jump, they ski jump to be first place. But then when the timer starts going off and they're skiing, they can't even finish the race. So I think a lot of like old white men are stuck in this mindset that the men's history goes way back, and women are just progressing right now. So I mean, we shouldn't give them this much. And so it's frustrating because I see the progress that all of us are making, and it's really unbelievable. So I really want to like shine a light to the younger generation of Nordic combined, and tell them that anything is possible. And I would love to be anyone's role model. And that's why I love talking to people, being on podcasts, in the newspaper, because I think that it's still something that needs to be fought for, and for a while.
I agree. And also, I would say, I think you're already doing that, and understanding and believing and acknowledging that it's bigger than you as an individual and you as an individual athlete, and being able to be like, hey, I'm doing this so I can pass the baton on, you know what I mean? So I can help a young lady that, likes to play sport, but at the age of 12, all the other ladies don't play sport anymore, and that's not the thing to do. So I'm gonna quit. It's like, no, like you don't have to do that anymore, mate. Like you can do whatever you want to do that's gonna help your mental state, help your physical state, whatever it is, right? And I'm gonna take that point and I'm gonna go further down, a bit like philosophical, spiritual type shit. And if I go too far, just pull me out of it and tell me to shut up. All right. But I honestly think we're going to see a bit of a shift, right? Because we've created these roles, right? Dudes have to be this, ladies have to be that, right? And I think we're going to see more of a shift of, well, we're just fucking human. And I don't understand why we're not all of them and both, because we're human beings, right? So we should be able to fight and feel at the same time. Okay, ladies can only feel, lads can only fight. Now we're kind of seeing, the pendulum shift the other way, where mental health for men is coming up a lot more than it used to, and now physical fitness is coming up for ladies a lot more than it used to. I think it will end up becoming like both on both sides. I think it's going to take a while, and I think it helps having conversations like what we're doing now, and having people like yourselves on literally the world stage turning around and being like, no, there's larger issues at bay here, guys, and you need to plow your attention there. But I think and I hope it gets to a point where, it's no longer I'm a dude, so I have to do that, or you're a lady, so you have to do that. It's like, okay, you're Annika, you're clearly a lady, but what do you want to do, and who are you? Oh, okay, you do that. I'm Alex, I'm clearly a dude. Oh, I want to do that. And I'm like, cool, fantastic.
Totally. I'm completely agree with you. And, I hope, and I can see that too, that hopefully this will, we'll have this like whole shift and how we view different people, even from a sexist or racist side. I think that, just like you said, we're all human and we are all the same. We might be built different, but I mean, so what if I'm a girl? I should be able to do whatever the guys are doing, and like no one should be able to stop me. So
100%.
totally.
100%. So
Yeah.
I got a few questions that I like asking people,
Okay.
right? Because usually I'm obsessed with like people's answers. I think it's really cool. The first one is, what's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
Oh, wow. I might
I
need a
kind of put you
minute
on
for
the
this
spot.
one.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Hmm. Wow, this is like, I don't think I've been asked this in ever.
I'll take that.
I think kind of my mom was a huge role model in my life. She almost went to the Olympics in swimming for 200 fly, which is insane. I can't even do 50 meters of fly. But so she's always been a huge role model in my life, and always pushing me and my brother to the limit. And I think that has so much to do with our success. But a lot of what she said growing up is, like, work hard now and eventually it will pay off.
Mm-hmm.
And, at the time when she's trying to rush us out of the door to go, I used to do cross country skiing when I was little, and I hated it. I hated cross country skiing. And she knew that I needed an endurance side. No matter if I wanted to, go into a career of gymnastics, endurance is always amazing for anyone and everyone. So it was a hard time with her, like pushing. But, right now, as I see, the past and, how hard that was, I can only thank her right now for, like, I'm in a great place. I'm, traveling to World Cups, I'm competing in World Cups. And that's honestly like a lot of big thanks to her. She had a lot of to do with the motivation side of that. And, she always kind of told us to have a positive mindset. And, I am a huge believer of, gratitude and kind of manifesting, if you'd say that.
Yeah.
So she kind of taught me, like, went into that way of like manifesting and, taking things in life that you want. And, I still do it to this day. I'll write some things that, I want in the next year. And I don't know if that quite answered your question, but that's like kind of the first thing that popped in my head is my mom had a lot to do with, you know, us thriving and, you know, pushing us to the limits. And she always had some great things to say for motivation and a positive mindset.
That's beautiful. Yeah, especially getting that ROI, right? And putting in the work now so you can reap the reward later, right? We feast on the seeds that we sow.
Yeah, totally.
You know, fucking plant a seed and it's, oh, you know, I've got a tree. It's like, no, that takes a while.
Yeah. And actually one quote that I love, I don't remember who said it to me, but someone said, don't go through it, grow through it. So that's always like stuck with me. And, you know, if you don't like what you're doing, then you don't have to do it. No one is forcing you. So you just kind of, I've grown with this sport and it just kind of, it hit me differently.
Don't go through it, grow through it. That's good.
Yeah.
I've never heard that one.
No, I wish I remember who told me that, but I have it written down in my notebook and everything. So it definitely is different.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah.
What's the worst piece of life advice you ever received?
Oh gosh.
Now, these are always funny.
Oh my gosh. This is funny because I've like never been asked this, so I can't even like nothing just even comes to my head.
That's good. It's authentic.
Yeah.
Told you I'm not CNN.
I guess there was a couple people that were concerned about me not going to school right away. I think there's such a stereotype in America, especially that right after high school, you go to college and basically just live in student debt. And, you know, at times I'm like, oh, well, I'm not getting my college experience and, you know, I won't have a roommate and all this kind of stuff. But then again, like I am traveling the world, like not even, I mean, people don't just do this. So I think the closest thing that I can think about is, you know, a couple of people were a little bit worried about, you know, oh, but you're not getting your, you know, college education. And I'm like, no, I mean, that can wait. Like I'm thriving right now. I'm traveling the world. I'm competing in a sport I love. So yeah, I think that, you know, people feel pressured to go straight to school. And I think that's not the case. I mean, take at least a year to go see the world, right? So yeah.
I 100% agree. Like, yeah, there's a couple of people told me I was a fucking idiot not doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
they have all this like this worried look on their face, like, you're not going to school. I'm like, eventually, but let me just live my life right now.
Yeah. It's not for everyone, right? Like, no one else can tell you how to live your life because no one else lives it.
Exactly.
Right. And yeah, I think honestly you should get like, do they want to say hello?
So what?
Do they want to say hello?
Yeah. Oh no, it was my dad walked in. I don't think he knew that I was talking. So
it's all right.
No.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I think honestly, like you shouldn't be able to go to college or university until you're like 21.
Yeah, honestly, like, I mean, people are so rushed into it. And I mean, having you know, second dual citizenship to Finland that has the greatest you know, education system in the world. You know, it's crazy because I went first semester in Finland, second semester in the US until my senior year. So like I never had a dull moment in my life. I was like, I literally lived two different lives at once. So I could see the difference between like education systems, which is crazy in the US. I mean, I can't even like, why go spend $200,000 for 4 years of school? Like that's just ridiculous. I mean, my mom told me from the start that she's not paying for my college in America because I can get it for free in Finland. So
yeah,
yeah, that it's a socialism life. So it's definitely different and mindsets are different. And I feel like, people are more happier and free when, things are covered, free education, free, you can go to the hospital and not have to worry about anything.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would have to agree.
Yeah, I agree. I went over to Denmark for a little bit, and obviously it's not Finland, but you know, Scandinavian countries have a similar culture and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, it's expensive, and things are going to be difficult in other ways, but I absolutely loved it. I love the vibe of the whole place. I love how the people treat each other. It's kind of like the common good and kind of like branching together rather than the kind of competitive capitalistic mindset of like, no, I'm trying to get one over on you, or you're better than me because you got a house. And I'm like, well, what's going on? Like,
Yeah, totally.
no.
Yeah. And it's cool, like, because I got to immerse myself in two different, completely different cultures. I feel like people are more free in, Finland. And I might get a lot of criticism over this, but I mean, like, America's supposed to be a free country, but I mean, all I see is, stressful, worried people because, they're not able to pay their bills or they're gonna come out of college and a lot of student debt. And so that's definitely something I see is like people are just like kind of worry free, especially in a country like Finland or Denmark.
Mhm. UK is the
Everything is
same,
taken
man.
care of.
UK
Yeah.
is the same as the US. Like, it's not that different. The divide is more social economic. Like the class system is disgusting. Like it such a such a barrier for the way people live. And honestly, I knew about it, right? Because like I said, grew up in Manchester, didn't really have any pennies to rub together, literally. And I knew about it because you watched how other people live. And you're like, well, I can't live like that because I don't have the money. But anyway, like coming over here and kind of, as you do, you jot around, like you said, we world travel. You're like, wow, that is not the only way you can live your life. Holy shit.
Mhm.
Okay. Maybe these other ways might be better. Just asking the question, right? Hey, will this be better? No? Okay, cool.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's something cool that, like, me being able to travel the world. I mean, I see that in every country. I see, how things work and how people like what's their vibe and
Mm,
all this kind of stuff. So it's interesting.
mm. People who are world travelers are always the most interesting people,
I know, right? It's totally true.
for
Like,
sure.
I have some friends that haven't traveled out of the US, and I'm like,
Yeah,
and I feel like they're so like
yeah,
they only see America, and I'm like, you don't know even what's on the across the ocean over there.
mm, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
totally.
guys. You can leave your city. There's other things around.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. That's so true. I could name a couple of examples, but I don't want to throw people under the bus. Um, the last question is 3 words you would tell your younger self.
3 words. Um, I would say positive mindset. It's really everything, like negativity is not going to get anything done at all. Um, hmm. Um, oh gosh. Dude, damn, you really got these questions. um, be spontaneous. There's so much in the world that is undiscovered, especially by, just an individual person. There's
Mhm.
so much, it would take a lifetime. And third of all, I would say, um, um, like be motivated, I guess. motivation is everything. You have to have a reason to wake up every morning. It doesn't matter if it's, your athletic side or your friends or family. So yeah, positive mindset, motivation, and be spontaneous. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. This was awesome.
It certainly was. And I really appreciate hearing some stories, like taking a dip into your reality of Colorado / Finland / the world / throwing yourself down a really long jump, which is actually insane, but also really entertaining to watch. So I'm glad that you do it so I can watch it and I don't have to do it. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
And I can't wait to see whenever you're on the telly next. You'll have to send me the link.
Yeah, no, I will. It's going to be a really exciting season, and I look forward to it. And yeah,
I'll get a little fan base down here in New Zealand going, like, but yeah,
perfect.
Cool.
Awesome.
I get my pom-poms out, my little tutu. Don't ask why I've got
That's all
one. That's another story for another day.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. And I really had a great time talking to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And yeah, if you're ever, I don't know, skiing around or flying around somewhere in the bottom right-hand corner, then hit me up. You know where I am.
Yeah, totally.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
See you later.